Mike, you know, last week you were on, we had a really good discussion about the ocean floors rising, the thermosphere, the gravity waves. And, you know, last night I felt led to go back into that archives because of things that were happening on the Earth and emails I'd gotten from that broadcast. And I felt I should go back and do a YouTube video of that interview, of that discussion, or at least part of it, put it on YouTube last night. So I did. And been a very good response to it. Folks are very interested. I've received emails from people saying, can I hear more? Is there more information? So especially when this couple things going on, Yellowstone National Park and this hole that opened up in Russia. So let's talk about Yellowstone first, Mike. The roads in Yellowstone up near where the old faithful geyser is, and where those geysers are, and those pools of water that are steaming. The roads are melting, literally melting. Now they're saying they're soupy. So, Mike, what's going on up in Yellowstone, and does that have anything to do with the gravity waves you talked about last week?
Well, you know what, Pastor? Underneath the Earth, underneath the continental crust and the oceanic crust, of course, is the mantle, lithosphere, and so forth. All that's heating up. And the sun also, in parallel with the Earth, is also heating up. Of course, I said last time that the rest of the planets are also having their heat-up phase. I guess what's important to note here is the power of the sun is increasing. The brightness is increasing. By measuring titanium-44, they can determine the energy output from the sun to extract a trending of the sun, and they have determined that it is, in fact, burning differently, much brighter.
Is there a reason?
That effect in the,
well, what's the reason it would make this?
That effect in the sun is also tied to the Earth. The Earth internally is driven by, theoretically, it's called a dynamo, which is much like the sun. It just has a crust around it, of which we, occupy in the oceans and so forth. Both are expanding. Internally inside the Earth, those fluids are expanding, and because they're under pressure, they're causing an effect of both magnetics. That's measured in Teslas, of course, that magnetic field it's putting out, and heat. So methodically, likely exponentially, the surface of the Earth, the continental crust and the oceanic crust will begin to heat up from the inside out.
All right, so
externally in our solar system, there are energies emanating from the center of our galaxy, and of course, you can't. Although our solar system is on a plane, it's tilted. Our solar system is tilted in relation to the center of the galaxy, so it's almost like a corkscrew effect going through the galaxy, which means that and it within itself moves up and down and up and down over the course of many thousands of years, and we're back in the center. But this time we don't have the interference we had once before. In other words, all the space particles that were in between this solar system and the center of the galaxy. It's clear. It's almost like just about a direct line of sight to the center of the galaxy now, which means there's nothing shielding us from those energies emanating from the center of the galaxy to our solar system, which is affecting everything.
Okay, now you talked about the sea rising, okay, the ocean floor rising due to this gravitational or gravity waves. And over at Yellowstone, we have a supervolcano. You said there'd be a lot more volcanic activity on the Earth. There is volcanoes that have been dormant that are waking up. There's tremors and there's more activity, volcanic activity than we've ever seen before. And this super volcano in Yellowstone, the road is melting. The road, Yahoo News today, the road is soupy. It's becoming like soup, like oatmeal. Okay? And people are not allowed. It's right now today. You can't go to Yellowstone and go look at Old Faithful Geyser. It's too dangerous to get up there. But it says, but after a while, temporarily closed. What do they mean temporarily? Is it going to cool off? Or are that just their way of saying we got a problem?
You know what, if you to understand Yellowstone, people probably should understand that the Yellowstone, that magma chamber goes down to about 310 miles deep. That's how deep it is, 310 miles, the magma chamber itself. 310 miles deep, and it's probably, I don't know, probably about 62 to 70 miles wide. Now, that's a lot of volume of magma, and it's directly connected to, it's feeding off of the mantle. The material that has kept most of the magma at bay is beginning to dissolve. They know this by the pulses they've been sending out, and that magma chamber is heating up. Now, it is methodical by nature, but it's heating up. Ultimately, the earth underneath the surface of Yellowstone National Park, it will adjust itself. So you may have one area hot this day, it may not be hot another week, and then you may have an expansive area of about 50 or 60 miles that are just, you can't get near them. And this is happening on a global scale. People will notice lava flows in strange places. The ground opening up and you see lava underneath. This is happening all over the place because the Earth is going through a type of eternal expansion.
So
and all the plates are shifting. There's an increase. Go ahead.
Yeah, and in layman's terms, what you're saying is, okay, so the magma chamber, which you say is about 310 miles deep and about 62 miles wide, is that basically the super volcano? Is that what the magma chamber is?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where all the magma is, and it's under, the pressure is increasing.
Now, it's increasing, and as it increases, it don't just heat up in one spot and stay there. It moves around. It goes, it's sort of like electricity. It takes the path of least resistance, right? So if it does that, when it does that, then it might heat something up here, and then as the pressure continues to build, it may move over here and heat this area or this area, and that's what's creating fissures. That's what's creating volcanic activity, even in dormant volcanoes, because the overwhelming magma increase is moving and flowing and pushing, and the pressure is taking place. So it could be temporarily hot at Yellowstone for 3 months, 6 months, a year and a half, and then it could move itself over to as pressure releases, and the heat could go over here and cool back down. It never totally cools down because this is a huge chasm. This is a huge cavern, if you will. Huge. This thing's huge. 62 miles in radius. This thing's huge.
Right, and very deep. Now, here's one of the problems they're noticing by sending sound waves into that caldera. The partial melt of the top of the magma chamber is beginning, for the first time during its observation, to heat up consistently, which likely means that it's called basaltic magma. It's a layer of magma that seals the rising magma from that upper chamber. It's beginning to dissolve. If that continues to dissolve, the pressure will increase so much in that chamber that lava is going to find its way to the surface any way it can. But the ground will certainly heat up. This will happen not only to Yellowstone, but to Tamumasi, to all the volcanoes around the world, we're going to experience a lot of volcanism. And the ground, for the ground to heat up and to sustain that heat, when the caldera is miles below the crust of the Earth, that's just not a good sign. That means that the rock is actually giving way and the heat is not stopping.